is what is happening over in the waters of Venezuela. And I'm trying to find out where it ties in, why we're going after these ships, and is it really, going after the drug cartel? I don't think Venezuela offers much of a challenge for us, but yet we're still over there doing something. I'm still trying to figure out where this is going and what we're going to be doing about it. And I think there's like more to come. And so we can't surmise the whole picture. We have some guesses. Maybe some people know more about than I do. But I wonder if it's some kind of power grab or if it's some type of possible grab for the actual resources of Venezuela. I'm not quite sure. And I don't know if it ties into Mexico or not.
Well, what do you mean? What's happening?
And it seems like, it just seems basically like there's a lot more, as I said, to play out, and we'll just have to wait and see. That's one thing I was looking at right now. And also the fact that, for the future, we're going to switch over countries here to Australia. I guess we've done some type of deal with Australia concerning their rare minerals. And I think we're trying to get off the dependence of China. So it's hard to say where that's going to. Sometimes, President Trump speaks highly of President Xi, but then there's times where there are mortal enemies. Where are we going with this? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, I see some of the...
I'm sorry?
I don't know either. I never even was too filled in on this Venezuela thing. However, looking at the Portland stuff.
Portland is I think people are sick to death of Portland. I think the general public is just had enough. I think we should step in there. The poor mom and pop business places are closing down. I went to Portland last year on a little mini business trip, and I was really impressed. It's a big city, but it has the feel of a small town. Really, really pretty up there. And I was the river running through the city, and it had an old feel to it. Yet it's kind of high tech also. So I think that people in general, you need your mom and pop places. You want to get away from your large box stores. So Portland was a place where many people from the San Francisco Bay Area were going up there for their restaurants, to start restaurants, to continue their artistic endeavors, because they were priced out of San Francisco. San Francisco is just too darn expensive. And of course, with all the people from San Francisco moving up there, the real estate up in the Oregon, Portland especially, went high, pretty high. Not as high as San Francisco, probably even cheaper than Oakland still, but yet it was a place for opportunity. And that was a few years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago. So we saw the fruits of their investment, their sight to see that Portland would be the next big thing. But yet when Antifa and the other radical groups took over and started tearing the place down, burning it down, it destroyed everything. It destroyed their dreams. And we're trying to bring it back. But so Portland has a semi-socialist mayor. They have places where you can shoot drugs legally. They almost encourage it. And that's like the destruction, the decadence of society. It just, you can't have that. In America, with the values we have, we were taught to work hard, to save, to invest, to put the time in. You'd have your reward. But you get these Johnny-come-latelys over there and burning your business down and destroying all your livelihood. What are you supposed to do? I think people, the pendulum has definitely swung to the other side, and people are sick of this crap. They really are. I'm sick of it. I don't even live in Portland, but when I went up there, I really, really liked it. It's still fresh in our minds, this No Kings event happened, but the ironic thing, as I said earlier, our earlier show was that the No Kings event was sponsored by Kings. Some of the richest people in the world were sponsoring this. And I mean, don't these people realize that it's like counterproductive?
You have any evidence of that?
You're rallying and protesting the very people who are funding you. How does that make sense? I don't get it.
Do you have any evidence of that?
Well, the evidence great question, by the way. The evidence I do have, there's a listing of the actual amounts of money that were donated by these so-called known leftists who were trying to kind of redo the world in their particular way they want it. Soros, another famous name, Bill Gates. We know what he's about. Just in his past exploits. Same with Soros and his son.
What do you mean? What are they
Benioff.
about?
But again, Benioff swung the other way also.
What do you mean? What are they about?
Salesforce building, the tallest building on the West Coast, and he wants more police now. So go figure. He's a guy who's kind of like anti-police. Now he wants to bring in. When he had his big Salesforce event in San Francisco, he wanted to bring in 200 police, wanted to bring the military in, the National Guard. In San Francisco, Trump has just made the decision to bring more troops in, National Guard, and I don't know what branch of the military he might possibly bring in, but there seems to be a revolt in San Francisco having these people come in. San Francisco is a very interesting mix of old money and the eclectic hippie hate street type vibe that it used to have for many years ago, almost making a mini comeback. The Haight-Ashbury crowd they did die off, but there's very few left. But their mindset and their values are still there. So that really, really never left. But in my experiences, I've seen the new mayor, Mayor Lurie, who's done a great job to straighten up San Francisco and remove some of the homeless element and the illegal sales on the streets of goods and kind of make it more business friendly, waiving some of the fees for having outside seating and making San Francisco a great place to visit again where you can feel safe. For years and years, San Francisco was the top destination locations in the whole world. Surprisingly, it is a beautiful city. So we're kind of, again, I used it several times, said this thing, the pendulum swinging the other way. We seem to be trying to come back to that. January 6th, and nothing happened on January 6th, but the leftists turned it into the new Pearl Harbor. I mean, which is crazy. And a lot of people went to jail for basically nothing, just being guilty by association. Yeah. They even went after Alex Jones, and he was trying to fuse the crowd. So there is media bias, and as most people see, most of the media bias swings towards the left. So the left's got their own like advertising firm in the media, and they will back them up. So it's again, January 6th to me was a farce. The only person that got killed was the protester by the Washington, D.C. policeman.
Well, are they going to open the government back up tomorrow?
I'm sorry?
Are they going to open up the government back tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. I think this could carry on for a long time. I think the record was back in the Ronald Reagan era of 45 days, I believe. But we do need it open because a lot of people are really counting on these benefits that they need. I mean, I don't want to see the lady who has children just to get the benefits. But I don't want to see some old senior citizens go hungry either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of again the old quandary of I see a lot of benefits in this whole the government benefits for the people. I see a lot of positives in it, but I also see abuse and fraud, and that's what we have to weed out without shaking the apple cart so much that we're like the old paralysis by analysis, where nothing gets done and the actual shutdown continues.
Well, there are some that are accusing the Democrats of purposely keeping the government closed in order to crash the economy. I don't know if that's true.
I can see that happening. Chuck Schumer is the one calling the shots on this. And apparently, Chuck Schumer has been in politics for 44 years. And I don't think he's ever had a situation where he's going to miss a paycheck or possibly miss a dinner, miss a meal.
Well, I heard that they're still getting paid.
Citizens and Vietnam veterans and Iraq war veterans that Afghanistan war. They might be missing meals. No. The rumor is I heard that they're all still getting paid. Well, those guys always get paid. They take care of themselves, of course.
Yeah, I mean, even heard all the government workers are getting paid as well.
That I can't verify. I know that they made an exception to pay some of the military, but I would think that it is possible. I mean, they vote to give themselves raises all the time. I mean, it's about keeping the power for themselves, and whatever happens with the people happens with the people, as long as they're able to take care of themselves. I think there are some people who really do care, but these career politicians, I kind of wonder about, especially when they get so rich when they're getting millions and millions of a job that pays $150,000 to $200,000 a year. Do the math; it doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's just the way the world works sometimes, and there's corruption across in so many different industries, not just the government. So I just can't point my finger at them and say it's all their fault. I think there really are some good people in there, but I think some people, they should have term limits. Some people need to move out. You're getting stale. You're getting complacent. You've lost your hunger. You've lost your desire to make a difference. It's all show. And, they'll say things just to stir the pot, just to sound controversial. You could talk a good game, but let's see you walk the walk. Let's see you do that part. So I don't know. Even Gavin Newsom's done a couple things that were okay. But overall, I'm not a big Gavin Newsom fan, especially since he's related to Nancy Pelosi, the Miss Stock inside trader herself. It's a real hot topic with the National Guard coming in. Now, being that I have more of a conservative mindset, I do understand where the left is coming. Hey, we're losing our freedoms. We're losing our freedoms. But I also see what's happening, rampant crime. We've got to put a stop to it. And sometimes might does make right. A lot of these leftist mayors think they got everything under control. Well, they really don't. And that's the whole reason, Trump is doing this kind of stuff, because they don't have stuff under control. They think they've got their whole situation figured out and things are just going to work themselves out. Well, what do you do when a store gets raided and you got 100, kids going through there, ripping it off, beating people up, Sunday punching people, and nothing is done? They let these guys right back out. Oh, they're juveniles. Well, you want to play with fire? You want to act like an adult? You'll get treated like an adult. You just can't go there punching people in the face. You can't go there, decimating a store, cleaning off the shelves. It doesn't work like that. And I think that, the police do need help. Especially if the mayors, the leftist mayors, are handcuffing the police. These leftist liberal judges letting these people go. I mean, to go out and do it again. Then there has to be people that have had enough, the decent people. In reality, there are really no free rides in life. To be a functioning society, you want to contribute. A lot of these kids need maybe we should have some programs for them. Not necessarily kids, young men, young women, teach them the right way and have some companies hire them, give them a chance to earn money and see how it is. And to me, that's a very important thing, is teaching these guys a good foundation. If you learn these foundations and truths when you're younger and practice them enough times, it becomes second nature. There really is no stopping you. Why do you think people are coming to this country? Because there is opportunity here. There is opportunity. And does it require work? Yeah, it does. But if you work hard, guess what? You appreciate it just that much more. That would solve a lot of the crime we have on the streets, a lot of the problems. And these fathers need to step up. They need to be there for their children. If you're going to want to, get involved and make a baby, well, you better be there. Unless the mother doesn't want you for some reason. I don't understand that, but I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm just a guy here trying to figure it out like everybody else, and to see how we can make it a better place. That's my whole foundation. I'll reiterate that we got to have some of these basic foundations. If you're a Christian or not, you gotta go with these things because they make sense. And they really do work, but it does take discipline. And that would solve a lot of the crime problems we're having. And maybe, I'm not saying that we should censor some of the stuff that promotes violence in some of the music. I don't want to take away creativity, but I also have to understand what it does by listening to this stuff. The thoughts it puts in your mind. If you listen to something enough times, it becomes part of your reality. And you really don't want that if it's something that's going to be negative, detrimental to society as we know it. What was that famous line? Ask what you can do for your country. And when you do that, everybody does that. It works for everybody. We gotta do that. Look, think of the bigger picture. And as a nation, we've always done that in the past. There was a time where you could leave your door unlocked, go next door and have a cup of coffee with your neighbor, and they'd look out for you. You leave your bicycles on the street or out in front of your house. They'd be there in the morning. Those days are long gone. They walk out in the morning, you'll find glass all over your driveway. Somebody smashed your window and just rifled through your glove compartment. Didn't even take anything. But now you got to spend $200-300 on a smashed window, and that's one of the worst feelings. You go outside to your car, you look, and there's glass everywhere. You go, what the heck happened? What did I do to deserve this? And they didn't even take anything. So even little crimes like that have a detrimental effect. That whoever had their car broken into, they're going to be thinking about that for a few days. They're going to have some fear. So back to the whole thing of having a National Guard or extra police, I think it's a good thing as long as the police and the National Guard don't abuse their power. It's a fine line. They have to know what their job is, but they also have to respect the basic doctrine of the United States, okay? That's what it's about. And people do have these rights, and we don't want to step on them. But yet, we also have to offer, rule of law. If you break the rule of law, be prepared to pay the price. We're all adults now. Even if you're 14, 15, 16, you know what's right and what's wrong. You can't help it. It's wired into us. Will you accept it? I don't know. That's a good question. Will you accept that? Will you let your moral compass take over? I know that a lot of people are desperate out there. Prices are going through the roof. Food, gas, heat, it's not easy. We can't lean on the government to save us, but we can lean on the government to maybe make some possible changes and give people opportunities to work or training or anything along those lines that's going to make it better. But this is something that's going across the world. I don't think just here in the United States.